How long is a training session? How long do you want to work out, right? Is it an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours? How many hours a day do you need to work out to improve? I was listening to Louis Simmons last night, and he spoke about how in his, earlier days, he was a construction worker, right? He was a tradie. During that job, you can imagine what he used to do. He talked about pushing these wheelbarrows around with bricks in it or whatever. He used to just basically be a laborer, And he said that was kind of his GPP kind of leading up into his powerlifting career. That got me thinking. So yesterday I came in, rushed session. I didn't hit what I wanted to hit. And so then I was planning later on in the day to come back in and do some, more training because I wasn't happy with how much work I did. I wanted to do more core, right? And so then the whole day I'm kind of planning around, okay, I'm going to come in, I'm going to squat, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And I ended up coming in and I ended up not squatting at all. I ended up just doing a little core work. I ended up doing like 20 sets of core, right? I ended up doing sit-ups, started off with straight legs, then I went to kind of like bent legs, sit-ups. That kind of got me thinking, what is a training session? How do we train to be stronger? Do we need to only work within the parameters of a training session, or can we train through our life? When Louis was a laborer, like out on the construction field, he wasn't saying, all right, boys, I've got an hour, worth of laboring, and then after that I'm done. No, he did like 8 to 10 hours of every day, right? You just worked all the time. So what can't we work all the time in the case of training for powerlifting or for Olympic weightlifting? Why can't we do that? Why can't you throughout your day just jump down on the floor and do like a set of planks or whatever, right? So it's not within a training session. You're not kind of warmed up to do a training session, but you're training throughout the day. It's kind of like mimicking what people, for millennia, did. Just go around doing heavy work all the time. No one says, okay, hold on, I can't lift this boulder up. I gotta, run some, lines. I gotta stretch up, and then no, you just get on with it, right? You start slow, and then you work way up. They kind of got me thinking about the whole grease in the groove kind of methodology that Pavel Tsutsuli used to kind of preach about. What kind of resonated with me so much. You don't need anything. So yesterday, throughout the day, I had the kids at home, taking care of the kids. So watching TV, messing around with them, get down, do a set. Get on with it, get down, do a set. Throughout the day, I ended up doing like 20 sets of sit-ups. So this idea that, I don't have time to get to the gym, you do, right? You can do whatever you want, right? The training session is not a training session, it's a training life. You can get work in whenever you want. Now, that doesn't mean you overtrain. That doesn't mean you hit squats 50 times a day, like you max reps. You just get work in, right? You just get that work capacity going. You just got me thinking, how does one improve somebody's work capacity? How does one improve, volume? Louis said that in his gym, for all those years that he was training people, the people that did the most amount of work were the strongest. Now think about that for a minute. The people who worked the hardest, who worked out the longest, were the strongest people in the gym. So, it doesn't take a genius to work out that there's no minimalism here. You just need to get through work. You need to work. Somebody that does 1,000 reps of sit-ups is probably going to be better than somebody that does 200 reps of sit-ups every week, right? So that just got me thinking about everything. It's kind of like reinstating some of my kind of old beliefs that I used to have about training, that it does not need to be in the confines of a gym. You can put work in all the time. I've tested this in the past. I remember in the past testing out the grease and groove theory before I actually kind of led myself into that type of training. I said to myself, okay, I remember this, this is like 3-4 years ago. I remember just going in and doing like a mega pull-up session. I would kind of do like 20 sets of pull-ups. So I would start, hit like set of 15 and then space them out like 3-4 minutes apart. And I ended up doing like a set of 3 by the end of it. I was just full exhaustion, to the last rep. And then I remember going back in the house, having something to eat. And I remember going back out, right, after an hour or 2, jump back on the bar, ended up doing 10. Now, what is going on there? What the hell is going on there? I thought I worked my muscle out to the max. Yet in 2 hours time, I went back in, I could do another 10. So what's happening there? Isn't that interesting? That kind of got me thinking, okay, so the pump that I got in the first session, the pump that I got engorged my muscles so much that I couldn't actually work out anymore because he was like occluding circulation. It was just pumped up, and the nervous system was just basically like fried. We can't get, chemistry in there. We can't get potassium, sodium. We can't fire anymore. Like, it's just too engorged. We can't feed the tissue with what we need to actually make these reps. I ended up getting 10 within 2 hours, right? And that proved to me that you think you're exhausted with the training session that you did. I guarantee you, if you came back in that night or even like a few hours after, you will be able to do like 75% of what you did the first time around. So you're not really exhausted, are you? By the way, this is 180 times 1. I'm just thinking about it. Man, this was heavy. This felt heavy. Even on the way down, I was like slowing down like crazy. The reason it's heavy is because I have killed my core in the last 48 hours. I've done a shit ton of sets of abs, of core. My back is fried. Everything's fried. And then I followed up with 140 times 1 front squat. So it is a sobering experience when you do a hard ass session and only a few hours later you can do like 80% of what you did in that session. How do you explain that? What I'm trying to tell you guys is that get work in. Get work in. At the end of the day, the person who does more work will be stronger. So I don't care how hard you're pushed in that training session. I don't care. Give it a 3-4 hour break. You can come back in and do some more. This is why the Bulgarian system worked. This is why it worked. Because you cannot, your energy systems, your central nervous systems cannot withstand punishment for like an hour, hour and a half, longer than that. After that, you're spent. Like you're over it, right? Like your nervous system is like, okay, we can't. But then these dudes, we can't go out, have a smoke, have a coffee. This is the Bulgarians. Maybe something to eat, come back and do the same thing. It's like, what the hell, man? I thought we were done. And they'll do that 3 times a day, man. So the body is good for a short burst of like high intensity training. And then it needs to kind of go do something else. Like you just need to kind of forget about it, let the kind of pump wash away, let all the nerves settle down, have a coffee, have a smoke. I mean, these dudes used to smoke, man, right? And then come back and hit it again. If I had the freaking time, I would train twice a day. Now, I'm no professional paid athlete. It's just, I love thinking about like physiology, biomechanics. I love thinking about training. I like challenging some of these beliefs that you have to train 3 times a week. Now, what I just told you, I don't care how hard you work 3 times a week. I don't care. You can do, if you just split, you can do it more sessions. It's possible. Even if you do like 60% of that work, you can do it. Now, there are ways of going about it. You don't just come in and like murder everyone. Like you don't just go in and do like crazy pig squats every day. You can't do that. There are ways about it. Usually it's like strength training that kind of works best. And you play with the percentages. But what I'm saying to you is that pull-up experiment that I did, explain that to me, man. You are capable of more. You just need to think outside the box and thinking about what's really happening and just experiment. And you'll be amazed how much your body can do. Catch you guys later. I gotta go and get some money, man. Gotta go to work. It's like 6 o'clock. So I got a quick shower and get out of here. Peace out, guys.